Are you ready for this one? Oh, it's going to be something special here tonight. There is no place like Auburn basketball, and I am here for it. And it's the Tigers wearing the home white, winning the tip. Oklahoma Sooners wearing the road red. Chad Baker-Mazar, the 6'7" senior from the Dominican Republic. He is so long, can do so many things. But it's Kelly, first shot of the game, and he knocks down a three. We take a look at the starting five for the Oklahoma Sooners. First time in this building as a member of the SEC, and they've got their freshman sensation, Jeremiah Fears, winning the point. There's an early turnover. Auburn, they're going to look to run. Jones decides to now pull it out. Inside they go. Kick out. Johni Broome, he will spot up. And it's Kelly with a backside offensive rebound.
The concern of Porter Moser was the defensive glass. Right now, it seems to be hurting Oklahoma early.
Here goes Fears. In transition, they walled up. Spot up three. And Duke Miles, nothing but nylon. We take a look at the starting five for the #1 team in the country, the Auburn Tigers. Jones, Kelly, Baker-Mazar, Broome, and Dylan Caldwell. 6'11", the graduate student inside.
Absolutely love the response by the Oklahoma Sooners here early. The first thing Porter Moser talked about was not only the defensive rebounds, but he wanted to attack. He wanted to get out into transition, where they saw that last game against the Commodores and scored over 60 points in a half.
61 in that second half. I mean, this is an explosive offensive team for Oklahoma. And Bruce Pearl is well aware they are taking their time here on the offensive end, but a turnover miscommunication as Bruce Pearl in his 11th season, now a school record 4th straight consecutive week as the #1 team in the country.
Yeah, Bruce Pearl has done one of the best rebuilds of all time, and I mentioned it earlier that Scott Baylor, the job that he did, taking Baylor from the situation they were in to a national championship, was exceptional, and Bruce Pearl is trying to follow in those footsteps this season.
Inside, Jalen Moore, and he is the leading scorer on this team, #3 in the conference at over 18 points per game.
First thing you have to do in a hostile environment is to take the crowd out of it. Oklahoma not turning the basketball over, defending at a high level, and rebounding.
Johni Broome lets the defense fly by. That's an and one.
And we hear the jungle begin to roar. It's very difficult to guard Auburn, and you saw Sam Godwin trying to get back, but that was too much room for him to cover. He can't hedge and get back to Johni Broome soon enough, and that was really going at the freshman Jeremiah Fears, who was supposed to be back and helping on Johni Broome.
So Broome does convert the three-point play as Auburn with an early 6-5 lead. Fears reclassified. This is a young man who should be in high school right now. That's how talented he is, as Jalen Moore takes the contact and finishes.
Well, I think he's the most underrated player in the SEC. He's an all-league player. He can go left or right. He has the ability to knock down a three-point shot, and he is certainly a high-level athlete.
This is an Oklahoma team that has won 3 of their last 4 games. Backdoor cut, and Miles Kelly throws it down. Tons of ball denial for Auburn defensively. Inside they go, but Sam Godwin not able to finish in close. 3 ball off the mark. And here goes Godai, known as a three-point shooter, spotting up at the free throw line. Tipping no good, and Broome cleans it up. What are we seeing early on offensively from Auburn?
Yeah, it's an Auburn pace, though. They like getting up and down. It's an Auburn team that shoots close to 38% from behind the three-point line in league play. Oklahoma can shoot it as well. I like the fact that the Sooners have not backed down to this pace, though.
Broome coming through.
Big boy. Looks like that ankle's starting to feel a little better, huh?
Oh, he's looking real good. Kelly and Broom have all 10 points for Auburn to start this one. Fears, step back three, hand in his face, and he'll be fouled by Kelly. Jeremiah Fears, the freshman out of Joliet, Illinois. Second on his team in scoring at over 16 points per game. But where this coaching staff has challenged him, it's not on this end, it's on the defensive end. As Porter Moser told us in shoot-around today, he said that's the biggest difference when you go from high school to college, making that defensive jump.
And Sheriff, think about the fact that he's the only freshman point guard in the SEC. So you know what that means? He's got Denver Jones tonight. Then the next night he may have Mark Sears. The next night he may have Walter Clayton Jr. And then, maybe he has the night off with Zakai Ziegler. The point guards in this league are sensational, and I think that's one of the reasons why the Sooners have a high ceiling, because this freshman continues to get better. But you see the numbers in his losses versus their wins in SEC play.
Porter Moser said what makes him so special and unique, obviously his athletic ability, what he can do on the floor, but also his mental capacity. He is a guy who allows you to coach him hard, and he continually wants to get better.
Well, for young freshmen, and Bruce Pearl actually talked about this, defensively is where they all struggle, right? Offensively, it comes to them naturally. But at 6'4", athletic, quick, he needs to take a tenacious mindset and begin to attack on both ends of the floor.
Look at this matchup. Tahad Pettiford, the freshman out of Jersey City, New Jersey, going against Jeremiah Fears. This is what the NBA scouts have come to see here tonight.
No doubt.
Broom banging inside, showing a soft touch. Oh, he also says you're too little.
They don't have an answer for him on this team. He can get that all night. The question will be whether they double team him or play him straight up.
Jalen Moore using his left. Now the Euro to get back to a strong right. And here comes Kelly for Auburn.
Janai Broom's basketball IQ is so good. He's really like a point guard playing at the point forward.
Baker Mazzara tangled up, and a foul called reaching on Duke Miles. Coming up next, we will talk about Auburn's versatility, how they could do it so many ways, the #1 team in the country.
Passive, right? The jungle is certainly dangerous, but defensively is what Coach Porter Moser talked about. He said as their defense goes, so does their offense. That's the reason why they were able to spread the lead in their last win against Vanderbilt. They continue to get defensive stops, get out in transition before Auburn's able to set up that stifling defense, and they'll continue to be successful on the offensive end.
Porter Moser told his guys in shoot-around today, put a body on somebody and let them know we mean business. We're here to win. Inside, Chaney Johnson off the bench. And it's Auburn with a 4-point lead. Mohamed Wagee and Glenn Taylor Jr. in for the first time for Oklahoma. And it's Broom with the steal. Gathers himself, and Baker Mazzara. Hello! Fears from straight away, knocks down the three. Calmly, the freshman looks like he belongs in this environment.
Yeah, certainly belongs, right? Top 20 pick. You mentioned that he reclassified. You think about at the Nike Peach Jam Classic, he put on a show. Bruce Pearl was talking about it, and they need him to put on a show here tonight.
Skip passes to Baker Mazzara, driving baseline, double teamed, but he is pushed out of bounds. Foul on Oklahoma.
Anytime you face the Auburn Tigers, they're going to test you. See, Chad Baker Mazzara wasn't allowing Jeremiah Fears to get that basket. And so as a result, Wagee was uncomfortable with the ball, but then Jeremiah Fears comes back and answers. I love the fact that he's showing that he is fearless here on the road.
Talk about our Wooden Award midseason watch in the SEC, and Jeremiah Fears, Janai Broom on the floor here tonight. Chaney Johnson goes in, the soft touch, and he's got a quick 4 off the bench.
Nice back cut. We asked Porter Moser what he expected. He said Jalen Moore and Sam Godwin, those two veterans, were supposed to step up today. They're stepping up thus far.
Jalen Moore with 6 points early on for Oklahoma. Bedford with a little step back, rolls off. Cardwell goes over the back, blocked. But they're going to call the foul on McGee.
McGee, the transfer from Alabama, gives them length. He gives them additional rim protection, hard-nosed, very gritty player. A nice pickup by Porter Moser, a late pickup for him. But I like the fact that he's going to continue to get better as the season goes on.
Cardwell's first rolls off. We got a men's college basketball doubleheader tomorrow night right here on the SEC Network, and it starts with this top 15 matchup. Mark Mitchell and number 15 Missouri are in Knoxville to take on Chaz Lanier and number 4 Tennessee. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 6 Central.
How about the story of Dennis Gates in Missouri? They can beat you in multiple ways as well. Nice matchup versus the Volunteers.
Here's Taylor Jr. He'll take a deep one. Too strong. Skying over everybody for the board. Bedford calling for it back, looking to set up the offense as he takes a look at Bruce Pearl. This young man has gotten more and more playing time as this season has gone on. 3 ball on the way, and it's Jones nailing it. May the force be with you.
Yeah, the 6'4", 205 senior could be the silent assassin on Auburn's team. He knows what pace to play at, can play the 1 or the 2, high-end defender and big-time shot maker.
Moore against the smaller Bedford. He's going to take him to the rack. And no call as Auburn walled up. 11 seconds on the shot clock for Oklahoma.
Outstanding defense. Watch Auburn continuing to move hands, being pesky on the ball to Hod Pettiford, and Jalen Moore does a nice job of attacking, but Chaney Johnson keeps his hands straight up, uses his line of verticality, and does not foul.
This is an Auburn team that leads the country with almost 7 blocks per game. You're going to bring it in. You better bring it in strong.
Well, I didn't have enough time to put those on there. They can block you. They can out-rebound you. And this goes on and on, sure.
Moore takes a peek at the shot clock. It's at 7. Here's the three-point shooter, Gadon. Moore now. He'll hoist one.
Now's when the Sooners have to be a little bit cautious. They got to continue to stay sound defensively. Good pass.
From Bedford as Caldwell throws it down. Elvis 3 is rims out. As Johnson looking to push it. Pettiford, logo 3. All right, he's feeling it. Kobe Elvis, Porter Moses asked him to take care of the ball. 4 turnovers in the last game at Vanderbilt.
You notice how they can switch 1 through 5, and that time Jalen Moore is the best to take advantage of the switch.
And a technical foul is called against Oklahoma's Jalen Moore. Let's take a look. After he finishes here with the left going to the rim, he yelled something at the Auburn bench, and the ref's not going to let you get away with that one.
Yeah, he just said, you can't guard me. That's a tough one, man.
We will step aside when we come back. Look who we got in the house.
Uh-oh.
Charles Barkley. I know you're not going anywhere. Come on back. It's going to be a good time. For
And now we've gotten to the point now where if we don't win a couple games, everybody's mad. So shout out to Bruce Pearl, man. I love that guy. But you know what? Every time we go out to dinner, which number one, you've never paid.
Don't believe
You always brag about that little team y'all had. Me and Chuck Person would have killed y'all.
Well, we actually have top 5 players of all time
Well, that'll be
via a platoon system that we got to discuss.
what platoon? We got platoons now?
We say it's a platoon system because, you know, Bruce Pearl's always his 10 versus your 10.
Okay.
So we got top 5 by position versus the other top 5 versus position.
So that was Pettiford shooting the free throws for the Tech. That was called against Jalen Moore, who said something to the bench before we went to break. It was a Tech, a team and personal foul called against him as Auburn now has an 8-point lead. All right, Charles, when I come here, this has turned into one of the most electric arenas in all of college basketball. What is it like for you when you come back?
Well, anytime. I come to about 3 or 4 football games a year, 4 or 5 basketball games a year. It's like a family reunion. And Bruce has made the jungle the place to be. These students are unbelievable. Nice pass. Nice. That's great coaching. That was a call play out of a timeout. That's great coaching. You know, like Greg Popovich is probably the best I've ever seen at coming out of a timeout, calling a play that works. That was great by Bruce Pearl. But, John, to answer your question, every time I come to Auburn, it's a family reunion.
As there's a turnover, we take a look at the last play, Johnson to Cardwell.
Well, it's just like Charles was saying. That was a set play for Chaney Johnson to use his speed. And then Bruce knew when he came up on the other side, Dylan Caldwell would have the mismatch, and he just threw it up towards the rim. He's terrific. Porter Moser talked about this in the shoot-around. He's terrific on special teams of college basketball, out of timeouts and out of bounds under.
You know, and you know, John, most people don't even understand that because they don't know a lot about the game. Oh, tough pass. That should have been a lob right there. Out of timeout and things like that, when you get a chance to tell your team what to do, that has to be great coaching. Because obviously when the game is going up and down, you don't have a chance. But out of timeouts and things like that, and when you get to tell the guys what to do, that's when you know guys are terrific coaches.
I had a chance to sit in on the team meeting today when they were watching film, breaking things down for over half an hour. I was just thoroughly impressed the level of detail that Bruce Pearl goes into in preparation for every game.
Well, let me say this. I've said this before, not just saying it because I'm with you guys now. We're never going to be out-coached. Bruce Pearl is one of the best X and O's coaches I've ever been around. And also, he makes so many great in-game adjustments. I always tell people, when I'm watching college basketball, I'm not even going to lie. I said, some of these dudes can't coach a lick. They cannot coach. They can't. Because the key to being a good coach, when you got the best players, yeah, that's easy to win. But when you don't have the best players, you have to make adjustments. Like, let's say, hypothetically, let's say a pick and roll. There's like 4 ways, and Damian knows this. Like, you either you go over, you go under, you hedge. Those are 3 different things. Or you switch it. Those are 4 different things. Most coaches, like sometimes I'll be watching March Madness, I'm like, they just ran the same play 5 times in a row. They got a good something every time. I'm like, Coach, please change that up. It drives me crazy because I can't stand watching bad basketball. I'm like, Coach, they just ran the same play 5 times. And first of all, that's good coaches run the same play. If they're not going to stop it, don't do it. Keep doing it.
This Chaney Johnson, a little hand fight and getting to the rim.
Hey, Damian.
And he'll be fouled by Taylor Jr.
No, Damian, number one, I'm so proud of you, the broadcaster you have become. I mean, obviously, your day job, you're a financial advisor. But I'm so proud of the broadcaster you have become. But I also loving that suit right now, brother. I'm loving that suit right now.
How clean is that?
Hey, come on now, let's get off of it. I will say this, and I want to ask you, because Charles has been an ambassador for Auburn, period, not just Auburn basketball. You think about Charles, you think about Tim.
Just gonna gloss over. Hey, first of all, hold on. Are you gonna mention me? You seen Tim Cook's bank account? You gonna put us in the same sentence?
Listen, you got a nice bank account.
We both just went to Auburn.
Listen, this is my question. What is the biggest difference? We both saw Auburn years ago when we knew Auburn was playing on a Wednesday night for the SEC tournament, when the arena wasn't the same. what is the biggest difference between how low Auburn was then with basketball versus where they are now?
Night and day, but it's all Bruce Pearl. It's 100% Bruce Pearl. You know, Bruce Pearl, when he came here, John, when I was doing March Madness, I would talk to coaches all the time. I had never actually met Bruce Pearl. And I sent Bruce Pearl a text. I didn't send him a text. That's a lie. I sent a voicemail one day and told him how great he was as a coach. This when he was at Tennessee. He saved the phone call for 7 years. Wow. He played it when he got the Auburn job. He says, I've got to play something for you guys. Charles Barkley, who I never met in my life, sent me a voicemail. And I just told him, like, yo, man, I'm sitting here watching which I'm doing right now. I'm watching about 3 or 4 college games a day right now, getting ready for March Madness. And I called him and said, yo, man, we've never met, but you're one of the best X and O coaches I've ever met. And we got lucky to get him 7 years later. But, like, right now, like I say, I'm watching 3 college games a day right now. And I'll say this, Duke, Auburn, they have separated themselves, in my opinion,
from the rest of the country.
Houston, Kevin Sampson is a great coach. They're up there also. But March Madness is going to be great. I love that. I tell you, I've been lucky and blessed to go to the Olympics. The second best thing I've done in my life, athletic-wise, is March Madness. The Olympics, they're on a whole nother level. Everybody, if you're a sports fan, should go to the Olympics one time in your life. But if you like sports, go to the Final Four as a fan, man. It's incredible.
All right, take a look at the screen. This is what makes Auburn so special this season. 12 quad 1 wins. That is the most in the country by 4. The second place team is Oregon. They have 8 quad 1 wins. And we are just starting February. That is how impressive this run has been. But when we talked about that with Bruce Pearl today at shoot-around, he said, it still doesn't mean anything. You guys still got to get to March and do what you have to do.
Well, because it doesn't matter. Listen, this is not the NBA. And this is what I want college fans to understand. This is not the NBA. But listen, to beat a team 4 times in a week, you are the best team. In a one-and-done scenario, anything can happen. I think that's happened to Auburn a couple times in the last couple years. They just got bad matchups. But what's going to be very interesting is how the rest of the SEC finishes. Because you can go on a 2 or 3 game losing streak the way the SEC is structured this year.
Well, think about it. Without the Pac-12, there's got to be open spots available now. What we've done, a precedent in college basketball, there's no more, this conference can only get this. This conference can only get this. The SEC could see 13 or more teams get in this season.
Well, it's going to be very interesting, but, man, the SEC is loaded, and I cannot wait to see how it's going to turn out.
Oh, we got to go to break. I wish we could keep you the rest of the game. Charles Barkley.
Hey, thank you for having me.
It is always good seeing you.
Welcome to Auburn.
Oh, it is good to be here.
He loves it.
Chuck Person would have killed you.
Looking at this and saying, how in the world are they, only winning a few games and they're down in the bottom standings in the SEC? How are they a 9 seed? Let me tell you why. Because they've knocked off the likes of Arizona, who's amongst the tops of the Big 12. They've knocked off Michigan, who's amongst the tops of the Big 10, and knocked off Louisville, who's in the top, let's say, 3-4 in the ACC. Those quality wins in the non-conference count the same as a quality win in league play. And I believe the committee's going to look at it that way.
A foul called on Godwin as Broom will get a trip to the free throw line. Let's take a look at Joe Lenardi and how many teams he has predicted to get into the final field from the SEC. As we take a look at the top teams, Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, Texas A&M, Kentucky. There's so many, you got to put it on another page.
Well, and you mentioned it earlier, Shrift, and I didn't think about it, frankly. We hadn't heard this from a national scale that much. You said that without another power conference, additional teams have to come from some league, or they'll come from the non-power conference leagues. And so if you went out and challenged yourself like Oklahoma, if you went out and not only challenged yourself but won those games, I don't think there's any team in the SEC, maybe Auburn, Alabama, that could go and win, let's say, 6 or 7 games and still have the right to be in the tournament outside of Oklahoma because of their wins.
Let's not forget, Oklahoma was undefeated heading into conference play. They took care of business. They did what they were supposed to. They played tough teams. And in the SEC, you see just how good of a conference it is this season.
Well, a win here today would certainly make a big dent as well.
Here goes Fears with Oklahoma down 7. More to the bucket, and it's swatted by Johnson. Broom, he's calling for it. He wants to get it on his side of the floor.
Yeah, he's got a mismatch. This is what we talked about. Let's see if they can find a way to take advantage.
Kelly, a lot of dribbling. Now goes to the bucket and finishes through the contact. He asks for an and one.
People talk about ceilings. Auburn has a high ceiling as well. Miles Kelly is much more than a shooter. He can do much more than the transfer from Georgia Tech.
7 minutes to play here in this first half. Pick and roll, extra pass, and another block. This time it's Broom.
The veteran leadership, multiple fifth-year seniors, they are connected as one. And when you see these blocks, that's anticipation. Janai Broom never quit on that play. He anticipated Jalen Moore going to the other side of the basket. And so you can actually be a little less athletic, a little less quicker, if your basketball mind is able to make the play for you.
There's a steal by Auburn. And Baker Mazzara out in front of everybody. Timeout, Oklahoma. And it's getting loud here in Neville Arena.
Consecutive home sellouts before tonight. And when you talk about the job that Coach Bruce Pearl has done, I always say it's okay to be a copycat as long as you're copying the right cat. And Bruce Pearl is a prime example of that for coaches rebuilding. The first thing that Coach Bruce Pearl did was he went to the fans. He did the same thing that Pat Kelsey's doing in Louisville. He did the same thing that Buzz Williams did with Reed Arena. Chris Beard is doing it. Rick Barnes. You can go all through the SEC. You have to get the fan base engaged. And that's something I will say for Porter Moser and Oklahoma. They have to do a better job of. Porter Moser is one of 6 Final Four coaches in the SEC. They are worthy. He is worthy. They've got to get more support.
Oklahoma trying to stay within striking distance before the half. Down by 11 right now. There goes Fears. And that's what makes him so special. You talked about his length, his height at 6'4". He also has that fearless mentality that he can get to the rim whenever he wants to.
Yeah, he's got an elite, quick first step. And when I look at his game, it's a reason why he's a top 15, top 20 pick in the mock draft currently, because he is so young. He should still be in high school. But instead, he's playing the best league in college basketball. And tonight playing against the best team in college basketball. And he's doing an outstanding job of showing grit, toughness, and basketball IQ.
Chatting up with Baker Mazzara at the free throw line. It did not disrupt an 84% free throw shooter as Fears makes them both. Baker Mazzara behind his back. How did he even see Broom there? As Broom is fouled, he's like, I gotta finish that.
Well, we mentioned the ability to drive you, and Chad Baker Mazzara is, I mentioned Jalen Moore as one of the most underrated players in the SEC. Chad Baker Mazzara is as well. And Coach Jones of Yale is doing a fabulous job. They're undefeated in the Ivy League again. Give him all the credit last year for knocking off Auburn in the NCAA tournament. But I sincerely believe if Chad Baker Mazzara does not get thrown out of that game, it is a different story. We don't know they'll have a chance to prove that this year, but Chad Baker Mazzara is one of the most elite wings in college basketball.
And he does it his way. every time you see him, he's got that swagger, that confidence, right? That smile. He's joking with everybody, and he just loosens everyone up around him.
Yeah, he's an extension of Coach Bruce Pearl. He is loose, but he is effective, and you never know what he's going to do.
There's that full court press from Auburn.
Yeah, if you're the Sooners, you don't want to be passive here. You want to be judicious, but you have to continue to attack the pressure. They are well within striking distance, but this next 6 minutes is key in the first half.
6 of the last Oklahoma points have come from the free throw line. They close out on Moore. Shot clock is at 6 for the Sooners. Fears dribbles by the whole team. And a foul before the shot clock expired.
That is so good by the freshman Jeremiah Fears. You could tell the jungle got louder and louder, but the young freshman Jeremiah Fears didn't show any type of panic. He stayed poised under pressure and was able to deliver it to Waggy.
So McGee will go to the line and shoot 2. Women's basketball takes over the SEC network every Thursday. This week, another great doubleheader. Sarah Ashley Barker leads number 23 Alabama against freshman sensation Liv McGill in Florida at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Then Texas hosts Vanderbilt right here on the SEC network.
2 unbelievable matchups. You look at UCLA still at #1 in women's basketball, but South Carolina knocking on the door. 70 wins in a row at home.
Asia Wilson just had her jersey retired into the rafters, and it was so cool to see how emotional she got on the court, seeing that moment, and as she helped build that dynasty at South Carolina.
Yeah, and I'm anxious to see how this year pans out. Caitlin Clark just had her jersey retired. I think that women's basketball's ceiling is through the roof, and men's basketball is continuing to elevate as well.
Bloom off the mark. It's pulled down by Northweather, but Auburn gets it back. Baker Mazzara lost the handle, and a turnover.
You mentioned turnovers, Shrift. For Porter Moser, we talked about this a little bit today. They had 11 turnovers in the first half when they got down by 13 versus Vanderbilt. That allowed the Commodores to get 8 more shots. They took care of the basketball in the second half, and as a result, were able to run away with the game.
Duke Miles was a guy who almost was in an Auburn jersey this season. Bruce Pearl said we almost had him, and then last second signed with Oklahoma as Northweather drains the 3, and Auburn's lead is cut down to 7.
Northweather, big-time shooter, ability to stretch the defense, spread the floor, continues to get better. 6'11", 240-pound red shirt sophomore. First
field goal for Oklahoma in almost 4 minutes. Baker Mazzara, mid-range pull-up, left it short, and Northweather went aboard. This is what Oklahoma wants to do. They want to run in transition. Bruce Pearl said, if we defend in transition, we will win this game. There's Taylor from the corner. Backside board, Baker Mazzara. Auburn on this end of the floor, 2 for their last 8. Cardwell, that's how you end the drought.
Such a willing passer. Not only a willing passer, but an efficient passer as well as Janai Broom.
Here's Miles, his floater, nice little kiss off the window.
Tough. Redshirt senior out of Montgomery, Alabama. Back here close to home. Sure he wants to put on a good show tonight.
Pettiford probing. As Broom is calling for with the freshman Fears on him. Now it's Pettiford, 3-ball. That's a team rebound from Oklahoma. Fears lowers his shoulder, and it's Baker Mazzara with a strip from behind.
Couple of big shrift. You're looking for Luke Northweather out of Blair Oaks High School. Nothing but nylon from 3. He does it on the outside, and Dylan Caldwell says, I'm doing it the old school way on the inside. Draft pick or a top 3 draft pick like Jabari Smith Jr., a Walker Kessler, Chumo Kiki. We don't see that yet, but it's certainly got to go down as one of the most talented teams.
I was here for that game against Mississippi State, the first game they didn't have Janai Broome. And the big question heading into was, how much depth does Auburn have?
Yeah.
Well, Chaney Johnson stepped up big in that start and showed just how deep this team is. Northweather open from 3, and he makes them pay. Oklahoma sticking around, only down 4.
That was a set play that Porter Moser worked on in the shoot-around today to be able to get the mismatch and then to leave Northweather out there wide open for that 3-point shot. Beautiful execution.
Sooners actually out-rebounding Auburn 9-4 over the last 8 minutes, helping them stay in this game. Broome gathers himself, almost was a travel. Northweather starting to feel it. And Broome beats Northweather down the floor, but he can't finish. And officials time as they want to make sure to fix the net that was stuck after that last shot.
Landis Poole and Porter Moser having a conversation. Coach Moser extremely upset because he had numbers on one end of the floor and felt like they could have taken advantage.
Officials tonight, you see Landis Poole alongside Todd Austin and KB Burdett Jr. Dribble, tries to put on the brakes. He's sliding on the floor, almost walked with it. Moore with 1 second on the shot clock, and it's Caldwell with a block.
Unbelievable defense by Dylan Caldwell, who Bruce Pearl may be right. He may be the best defender in college basketball because of his ability to defend 1 through 5.
Under 2 minutes to play here in this first half. Good D there by Miles. Kelly with the left, back to his right. Caldwell. And it's Northweather with another board. His 3rd. Fears trying to go coast to coast. Puts it up, nothing doing.
Yeah, a little freshman moment that time. 1-on-4, a tough shot.
Jones, elbow jumper, and he cans it.
Yeah, and that shot, Dylan Caldwell's down on the court right now. That shot by Jeremiah Fears led to the 2 points by Denver Jones. And that's why you have to be a little cautious if you're Jeremiah Fears on that. You have to make it.
So Caldwell goes to the bench as Johnson comes back in. And for Oklahoma, Miles will get a breather as the freshman Dayton Forsythe will come back in. What's the key for Oklahoma here? Final 120 this first half.
Just continue to take care of the basketball. Only 6 turnovers in this first half. They don't need any more. Just continue to get looks. Offensively, they're doing just fine.
Fears going against Broome, puts on the brakes, and Broome stayed down to get the block. Kelly calling for it. Catch and shoot on the way. And he missed everything.
Yeah, because the Sooners are doing a fabulous job of getting back in defensive transition.
Auburn trying to deny everything. Moore over Broome, and he affected that one too.
Yeah, Janai Broome still trying to recover from that ankle injury. Some conversation between Miles Kelly and Jeremiah Fears.
1 second difference between shot and game clock to end this first half. Jones uses the screen from Broome. Now Moore going to work. Off 2 feet and the kiss off the window.
Grown man move.
That'll do it for the first half here at Auburn. It's the Tigers, the #1 team in the country, with a 10-point lead at the half. Fears leads the way for Oklahoma with 8, and Janai Broome with 13 points leading it for Auburn. Let's send it to the studio.
Boy, they just wear you down, don't they?
We can get them a basket whenever they're needed.
Jeremiah Fears, perfect 5 of 5 from the line, 8 points. Along with Moore, both leading the way for Oklahoma in that first half. You see Godwin and Godine on the floor for Oklahoma to start this second half. Godine didn't play the last 6 minutes with 2 fouls, and Godwin didn't play the last almost 8 minutes with 2. That is off Cardwell, and 7 seconds to work with for Oklahoma.
Well, obviously, the first 4 or 5 minutes so important for Oklahoma for 2 reasons. 1, so they can close the gap, put a little game pressure on the Auburn Tigers, but 2, to try to keep the jungle from erupting in this building.
Fears had it swatted. Still time. Miles does get it off, but he doesn't hit iron. Shot clock violation.
Excellent defense by Dylan Caldwell, who loves having fun with the fans here in Neville Arena. I watched the Ole Miss game, and I think he was matched up against Juju Murray, and there was just nothing there. His ability to guard 1 through 5 is the best I've seen in college basketball.
8 blocks already tonight, Auburn as a team, and a foul away from the ball. And that's going to be on Godwin, so that is going to be his 3rd personal.
Huge 3rd foul by Sam Godwin. But if you're Porter Moser, you know, you have to kind of roll the dice. You're within 10 right now. He's a veteran. You trust him.
And Godwin. Whoa.
Wow.
He's going to pick up his 4th.
What a tough break. Let's take a look at it. Nice curl. That's a set play by Bruce Pearl. It was clean up top, but he got him with the body a little bit with that left arm on the way up. If you've got 3 fouls, you have to just stay straight up. And KB Burdett right there on the call, and he's probably trying to explain to him exactly what he did wrong.
Godwin, who missed the final almost 8 minutes of that first half, he's going to have to sit for a while in the second now.
Well, you think about what he did for the team last year. 31 starts. One of their best offensive rebounders. So efficient. He was close to 60% from the field. That was 6th in their program history in regards to field goal percentage. So he's a young man that they need, who will have to sit for a while.
Well, we saw an explosive second half for Oklahoma against Vanderbilt on Saturday, scoring 61 points. Let's see if they can get it going here at Auburn. There's a deflection, another steal for Broome. Baker Mazzara spinning away, throws it up, and he'll get a trip to the free throw line.
And that's what you can't allow to happen. We mentioned the fact that we thought Oklahoma did a really good job in taking care of the basketball in the first half. Only 6 turnovers. Already have 2 here in the second half. And he was looking for Jalen Moore on the short roll. You just can't allow that pass to be left out there. Remember, that young man should still be in high school. He's got to continue to learn. But that's one of the reasons why they've had that roller coaster of a struggle in league play, is because he's learning on the job.
And you're learning against the top teams in the country. I mean, you talked about being a freshman, starting as a point guard in the SEC, how big of a challenge that is.
Yeah, just because of the quality of guards, right? There's all types of quality guards across college basketball. But in the SEC, I don't think you don't get a night off. You really don't.
throws it high or loses it. Oklahoma stays with it, 4 on the shot clock. Miles trying to get by his man, and a shot clock violation. That's actually a break because that was an easy 2 on the other end for Auburn.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was thinking as the shot clock is beginning to go down, in that situation, it's almost better to just simply take the shot clock violation, because if you take a bad shot, quick shot, have a live ball turnover, then you don't get a chance to have your defense set, which is what Oklahoma's getting the opportunity to do now, down 13.
Oh, snatch back, 3 ball. Oh, my! Baker Mazzara, don't do him like that. Forsythe coming back at him, and he will be fouled, shooting 3 as Auburn, their largest lead of the game, right now up 16 thanks to this man.
Well, we said he's one of the more underrated players in college basketball, and he's nice at pumping the brakes, and Forsythe still right there, but just not quite close enough. Chad Baker Mazzara putting on a show.
But you know what? I love the toughness from Forsythe. Got one in his eye on the defensive end and then tried to give it right back to him, the freshman from Dale, Oklahoma. He's one of those guys, when he gets on the floor, everybody around him just kind of feels that energy, feels that little boost.
Well, at 6'2", 187 pounds, I really like the freshman as well. He scored over 2,200 points in high school. You know, led Dale to 3 consecutive Oklahoma Class 2A state championships. And what I like even more is you talked about his toughness. He had a little shot underneath his eye from the Arkansas game a little bit earlier, but he slowed him down a bit. He's still staying just as aggressive.
Baker Mazzara working out of that corner and finishing at the rim.
Our partner, Corey Alexander, talked about him at Maui. He is the guy that you have to watch out for. You know what Janai Broom's going to do in the role player.
Forsythe off the mark, rebound to Denver Jones.
I go back to Chad Baker Mazzara, but he's always an option.
Quick outlet pass. And good transition D by Auburn. Forsythe challenging, another rejection. Here goes Kelly with the left hand. And a timeout, Oklahoma. Listen to this crowd.
Pearl has done a little bit different than I would say a lot of other coaches. And you talk about, I think, their biggest competitor in SEC play, Nate Oates in Alabama.
A technical foul on 13 White. That is a team foul, personal foul for taunting after the made basket. It'll be 2 shots for Red, and then Red will have the ball on the baseline. Point of interruption for resumption of play.
So that's Miles Kelly with a taunting technical as we take a look heading to break.
I love the consistency. They called the same foul in the first half against Oklahoma. That's all you can ask for from the officials, that they be consistent the entire game. This crew has done that the entire night.
So Forsythe will go to the line to shoot the tech. And all 8 of Forsythe's points have come from the free throw line, a perfect 8 of 8 tonight.
We talked about the state championships. You know, this is a guy who loves Oklahoma, who always wanted to come to Oklahoma. He's what I would call a pillar, a building block that Coach Porter Moser was able to bring on. But we've talked about this crowd, which is one of the best, if not the best, in all of college basketball. I sincerely believe that Sooner fans have to back this team. They're right there on the cusp. They're in the tournament currently. As league play continues, when teams go and play in Norman, they need to feel something similar to this. They've got to back the Sooners.
Moore trying to go to work. Janai Broom affecting that one. It did not hit the rim, so the shot clock continues to run. It's at 5. Here's Forsythe, catch and shoot, off the mark. And a fight for the rebound as Chris Moore is going to be fouled.
And this is a sign that I think you have to show with Reporter Moser this game. You've got to try to pressure Auburn, which is so tough to do. In the first half, they had 11 assists and only 2 turnovers. But you've got to try to do something to disrupt the offense of Auburn as well. And right now, they're in a matchup zone, really just guarding their area.
Inside to Chaney Johnson. Can't get a handle. There's McGee getting on the deck for the steal. Forsythe, you can see his confidence growing with a little finger roll.
Young fella. Love to see that. A couple of freshmen really showing up to play well. And now they'll sit back in that zone. Looks like a 1-1-3. And they're going to match up the areas. What they really want is for Auburn to settle for contested jump shots on the perimeter. What a pass.
Moore in close. And the lead back to 15 for Auburn. Elvis contested 3. And they're going to call a foul on Pettiford with the closeout. He said, wait, who, me?
You know, players don't ever think we foul.
We are going to break. When we come back, it'll be Oklahoma at the free throw line, shooting 3. How about this passing game?
Sports only for the elite. The thrill of
team, a program that's rich in tradition, now in the SEC, and Porter Moser is trying to reach back into those deep pockets of success that they've had and get his team back in the tournament. I believe he's going to do it.
Do you think Oklahoma gets in this season?
I really do, and it's because of what we talked about in the first half, the fact that they had an undefeated non-conference schedule. They did everything that they could do. They just happened to be playing in one of the best conferences, according to Kim Palm ratings, since 1997, right? The SEC, multiple quad 1 wins. And so if he gets to, let's say, 6, 7 wins, which would put them at a total of 19, then you have to look at their overall resume. Now, games like this, which are still within reach, they take the control out of the committee and erase all doubt if you get to, let's say, 7, 8, 9 wins and go 500.
So Elvis making his free throws as Auburn's lead is down to 12. Oklahoma in the second half, 8 of their 10 points coming from the free throw line. As they dig in here defensively, wild pass and a turnover as the Sooners get it back.
So for right now, if you're Oklahoma, we said this was well within reach. You want to get this down to single digits, 4-minute segments, and continue to take care of the basketball. They've already got 3 in the second half. You can't continue to turn it over.
Taylor is open from the wing, and he left it short. There's Broom. He's calling for it. He said, no, let's get that clear out. Here's the double. Gets it off to Pettiford. Straight on. He said, I'll take it. Off the window. Didn't mean into, but it's 3 more.
Yeah, tough. And that's a decision that you have to make when you're facing Auburn, whether to double team Janai Broome and allow the 3-pointers, or whether to allow Janai Broome and others to have success on the interior.
Oh, Forsythe says, get off me, but can't finish. Wagee, he can, plus the foul.
Strong. We mentioned Muhammad Wagee, the transfer from Alabama, and what he brought to the table for Oklahoma. He's showing a little bit now. There goes the double team, and Forsythe a little late on that closeout, and the 5-star freshman makes him pay. And then here, a little push in the back, not enough for them to call it. I agree with the no call. And give credit to the Alabama transfer, Muhammad Wagee, for attacking the glass. Shot free throws really well in the SEC. You love to see that from a big man. He's at 78%. If you're a big guy at home, you want to increase your playing time. Be a big guy who can knock it down from the charity stripe.
There's Broome. Now he's got Elvis, the smaller guy, on him. Elvis trying to strip down. And a late whistle. As Oklahoma will huddle up, come together as the 3rd foul now called against Wagee.
I heard Fran Fraschilla say this the other night, and he was spot on. He said as a coach, he never minded a late whistle as long as it was the correct whistle, and I believe that was the correct whistle.
Here's this week's gymnastics doubleheader right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Number 2, Florida taking on number 15, Arkansas. It's at 7 Eastern. Then number 1, Oklahoma hosts number 8, Kentucky at the Lloyd Noble Center in Norman. Should be another exciting night of Friday night ice.
If you've never been to a gymnastic meet, in particular in the SEC, it is must-watch TV. You think about people who can do other people's sports. Ooh. There's no doubt in my mind they could shoot a jump shot or play some defense.
Incredible athletes.
Could we do a flip? Get on a balance beam whatsoever?
Don't say we, because I'm out. It's not me. Could you?
Absolutely not.
I got to get in early on one of our weekend trips and check out a gymnastics meet if it's in town where we're at. I want to take a look at it. Cardwell just discards the defender. Offensive rebound. Jones got it. Credit Dylan Cardwell for keeping the possession alive.
Auburn really pressuring Oklahoma, trying to make everything difficult. Good pass.
Elvis. Oh, but Northweather couldn't finish. And Pettiford is tripped.
Triff, when you're defending Auburn, there's multiple plays, right? Here's a missed 3-pointer. It was a nice closeout that time, but on the offensive rebound, that closeout, and when you have a broken defense, that's when it is so challenging, and that's why you often hear that the offensive rebound is the best time to knock down a 3-point shot.
Denver Jones, 2 of 2 from beyond the arc tonight. As look who's coming back in the game. Sam Godwin with 4 personal fouls for Oklahoma with just under 13 minutes to play in the second half.
Yeah, I love it. It's like timeouts, right? The game is too close to getting out of reach. You have to put the veteran Sam Godwin back in now and see if you can close this gap.
Well, they get a turnover.
Absolutely. But only the 5th turnover by the Auburn Tigers. You think about quality guard play in this league that we talked about. We didn't mention Sean Padula right earlier at Ole Miss, who's playing fabulous basketball. It gets you extra possessions.
Fears probing. He's got Cardwell on him now, so he'll take the big man out.
Got to go back to Fears, and he's got to go to work.
There they go. He's got both big men on him. So inside, and it's a block party tonight for Auburn. Step back three, Jones. Oh, you bet. And Jones goes to the jungle. You're not only playing the #1 team in the country, you're playing against one of the best atmospheres in the country, the jungle, bringing it tonight.
Individuals of all backgrounds, races, and colors, it's so important how you carry yourself because of your ability to impact future generations, future legacies, and both of those individuals well worth the gratitude that we all give them, give us the opportunity to be where we are today. We would not be here without individuals like them.
Well said, partner. It is an honor to be on the broadcast alongside Damian Fishback, John Schriffen, to be able to do what we love, because all the greats coming before us. Miscommunication off the backdoor cut, but it's out of bounds and it stays here with Oklahoma.
When you face the Auburn Tigers come March Madness, one of the things you're going to have to concern yourself with is 40 minutes, those segments, because Auburn tends to wear you down. As the game goes on, they get stronger. They don't get tired. They don't get weaker. That's what Oklahoma's currently seeing right now.
Here's Godin letting it fly, and he is the sharpshooter. That is his first three-pointer of the day, his first basket.
Well, he shoots 45% from the three-point line. In league play, he's been shooting 53%, the best of anybody in SEC play.
Hudson inside, can't finish close, but it went off Oklahoma. We have, it looks like a timeout on the floor. So actually the officials thought it was media break. It is not. So they're going to bring all the players back onto the floor as we will continue play here at Auburn with the Tigers a 15-point lead. You think about the foul trouble for Oklahoma. Their big man Sam Godwin had 2 fouls to sit for most of that first half, now playing with 4 fouls.
Yep.
As a team, they're shooting 33% from the floor, but with their offensive firepower, not out of this game yet.
No, they're not. And one of the reasons is because the equalizer, they've still made 5 three-pointers. So nearly half of their field goals have been from the three-point line. I think that they still have to make double-digit three-pointers to be in this basketball game.
Baker Mazzara, that was a hard closeout by Godwin. And Baker Mazzara behind the play, picking the pocket. Oh, and he gets the foul. It has been that kind of night for the #1 team in the country.
Absolutely relentless. Like tigers, lions, they continue to come at you in waves. And Chad Baker Mazzara having a lot of fun out there, which is a huge recipe for the Auburn Tigers as well.
He looked at that fan and said, I told you. I told you. And then he gave him 5, and he made the fans' night. Baker Mazzara with 15 points now, 11 of them coming in the second half. And Baker Mazzara is now down to his knees. And the officials are going to take the players back to their benches and going to review to see what happened to Baker Mazzara.
Previous play at midcourt under further review.
All right, Fish, what do you see here?
Well, obviously, that's an elbow that's thrown by Jeremiah Fears. I mean, that's going to be upgraded. You can't do that.
Is it, though? Oh, come on. Was that really that hard?
Well, the problem is if you don't upgrade it, then there's going to be retaliation, right? So it's not like it's a box out. It's not a quote-unquote basketball play. It's unnecessary and it's excessive. The officials are going to upgrade that because they want to keep the basketball game under control. And if you're Jeremiah Fears, you just can't allow yourself to do that.
All right, we're going to rewind this play and see kind of how it started to build from the free throw line. Fears and Baker Mazar going face to face. Was that really that flagrant?
You just can't allow it to go because you have to keep control. Now, for an example, even if we were just playing pickup basketball, and you throw me a bow, and then I come back and throw you a bow, that allows the chance for it to be escalated, and then the game gets out of control. That's something that you just have to keep under control.
But to see him go down to 2 knees,
that's just Chad Baker Mazar.
Okay, all right, I'm just making sure.
I thought you were talking about the play itself, but
the no call on the floor has been confirmed. Ball in play to Red in the front court.
I'm just saying, it didn't look like much.
Well, and you know what? That's part of.
Officials coming over just saying this doesn't fit, didn't rise to the level of a flagrant foul. But I understand what you were saying to your point.
Yep. And what I would say is part of that is Chad Baker Mazar and his reputation of doing that. But now you're going to have to keep the game under control so that doesn't escalate to anything further.
Porter Moser wanted Northweather to get that shot up there. Now Fears a tough turnaround as Jones is now down on the floor, and the officials will stop play for that. That came off of the jump shot from Fears as Baker Mazar is talking with him again. So once again, both teams back to their benches as I get a look from Fish. You said things could start to escalate.
Yeah, and a lot of times people get upset when officials call it close. But the truth of the matter is they're trying to keep the game under control.
Now let's see this. Was there a kick out by Fears with the shot? Hard to tell in those two angles.
This one actually doesn't look right because as a jump shooter, if you don't, as a jump shooter, it's tough to kind of control your leg. A lot of times, jump shooters kick their legs out to try to get a foul call.
The leg kick is part of the shooting motion. It is an incidental contact on the follow-through. Ball on the baseline.
Now, clearly the fans don't like it, but I think these last two official reviews, this crew has done a very nice job. KB Burdett Jr., Alandis Poole, and Todd Austin.
Sure. And like I said, as a basketball shooter, you can't control if you fade away whether your leg comes up a little bit. But I do think now they're going to have to make sure that they keep an eye on this basketball game. 10:47 left to go to make sure that the team's cooler heads prevail.
So Auburn will inbound up 18.
Now, what I would do if I was a player right now is I would attack the basket because my anticipation would be that you have a better chance of getting a foul called because the officials will want to keep the game under control.
Knowing that they're on high alert. Here's a three. And Baker Mazar missing everything. Still plenty of time in this game. Just over 10 minutes left in the second half.
Yeah, but you got to work a little bit quicker if you're Oklahoma. And that was a push in the back.
There's a push in the back. And you got to wonder if they're going to review that play. All right, let's take another look at it. That is a two-hand push in the back.
Obvious push in the back.
So we play on. Starting to get a little chippy here at Auburn. Miles trying to back down Pettiford as he stands his ground, and he traveled.
So, two sides here. If you're Oklahoma, you're down 18, you're on the road, hostile environment. You're adjusting. So if they're going to allow the game to be a little bit more physical, then that's what you want to do on this end. You see Sam Godwin's not in the game currently. So all 5 guys for Oklahoma can be, but you have to continue to be smart in how you play defensively.
3 ball. And Johnson crashing the glass. Pettiford, he'll take a try at it. He said, if you don't know, now you know. And Fears had to be held back as he popped up off the floor. And him and Baker Mazzara have been going at it in the second half. And now they are joined. And this all goes back to that original elbow from Fears. As the officials are going to try to clean this one up here at Auburn.
Has, in particular here at home with the crowd, and there had been conversation and an exchange between himself and Jeremiah Fears, and now they are trying to get this game under control.
A common foul has been called on 10 White on the original play on the inbound. We have offsetting technical fouls on 0 Red and 10 White. The technical fouls are team fouls and personal fouls, meaning 10 White's picked up his 5th foul and has been disqualified from the game. Red ball on the baseline, point of interruption with the offsetting technical fouls.
So because of the original personal and then the technical foul, 2 fouls, and Baker Mazzara has now fouled out.
And let's go back to the play at Yale last year where he got disqualified. This will be a chance for Chad Baker Mazzara to learn. One of the reasons I wore the jacket today, one was because of cancer awareness, wearing pink, but also because I'm a firm believer that March starts in February. And so teams that are going to make it to San Antonio, that are going to make it to the Sweet 16, they have habits that they're forming right now that will help them win come March Madness. And those are the type of habits that Coach Bruce Pearl and Chad Baker Mazzara will continue to address, and Jeremiah Fears as well in Porter Moser.
You know, Chad Baker Mazzara is still talking on the bench as Dylan Cordwell had to stand up and try to calm him down. Elvis 3. Let's see if Oklahoma can now use this to their advantage to come back.
No doubt about it. We are back to basketball now, which is where we should have stayed. A nice shot that time by Elvis.
9 minutes to play in this second half. Pettiford going against the big man. Little hesitation dribble. But stepping out of bounds is more. And Oklahoma will get it back.
I really like number 1 for Oklahoma as soon as Kobe Elvis. Now, you got to remember, spent the year at DePaul, 3 years at Dayton. And as a senior, he appeared in 33 games and started all 33 games. He's a veteran that can play at that 1 or 2 position.
Forsythe was looking for a whistle, didn't get it. And now Auburn looking to run. Pettiford, corner 3 ball. And behind the play, it was Moore going down to the deck. So Oklahoma has a 5-on-4 right now. Forsythe open, pump fake 3. And Moore back in the play with the rebound. Pettiford. And Moore is decked. Foul on Glenn Taylor Jr.
Well, when you're playing the Auburn Tigers, getting back in defensive transition are so important because anybody can start the break. Denver Jones does a nice job of what we call the pass ahead. And Tahad Pettiford did a nice job of running the floor and getting to that corner. And then both teams going for the box out, and officials right there to call the foul. Glenn Taylor Jr. and Chris Moore both going at it.
Moore makes the front end of the 1-1 for Auburn.
Chris Moore is what I would consider Auburn's toughest, more gritty players. Another fifth-year senior that Auburn has on their team.
If you were on the floor for Auburn, what would you be telling your teammates right now with this lead?
Just keep your head, keep your composure, but also keep your pedal to the metal. You want to continue to keep the intensity by playing intelligent basketball as well.
Tough board from Chris Moore. And Chaney Johnson with the touch. Northweather, he saw Broom, and he's giving it up. Gets it back, corner three. And Moore snatches it, but it goes off him. Auburn basketball.
He made a big donation to Auburn, right? And allowed Auburn to come over to Israel and play just a couple of years ago. I think it's outstanding. The love that has been shown by both Auburn students and the athletes in Israel has been phenomenal. And Bruce Pearl has been an ambassador for that.
Well, take it even a step further. When Arizona and Kansas State went over to Israel and play in 2023, Bruce Pearl donated money out of his own pocket to make sure that those teams could go over to Israel and see for themselves what the country is all about. Inside, Chaney Johnson. Oh, and it rolls out. Northweather three. And it's Pettiford on the glass. How about these big minutes from Chris Moore? He got a lot of love going back into the huddle out of it last time out.
Yeah, this time of the year, the teams that are going to win it all, they're continuing to get better. You don't have a chance to digress, and Janai Broom's still not 100%.
A block is called on Pettiford. That'll be his third personal.
And, you know, let's remember Janai Broom's still getting back. He's got that big sleeve on his left leg where he had that ankle injury, that sprain. And I don't know what percentage he is, but I know he's still not 100%, just showing unbelievable character, grit, and toughness, and wants to be out there with his teammates.
Using all of that rim to get the first one to drop. We take a look at Janai Broom in the timeline with that ankle injury. First 15 games of the season, just on a tear, leading the team in points and rebounds. Injured the ankle in the
hips on the entire night.
Jones 6 the first. He's got 12 points for Auburn. Has not missed from the floor. Perfect 4 of 4.
Well, he's another guy that flies under the radar. He's shooting 40+% from behind the three-point line. 38 three-pointers coming into this game. One of the best defenders and has terrific size. Another big veteran guard at 6'4", 205-pound senior, John.
Well, he's a guy who's made himself into a real high-level combo guard. That's what Bruce Pearl has talked about. He can play multiple of the guard positions. Fears. Locked down by Chris Moore there. And the three rattles in for Jalen Moore. He has been quiet. His first points in the second half for Moore. He had 8 in the first half.
Well, he's got to be an all-league guy. We mentioned that for the Sooners to be in this basketball game. If they want to pick up any momentum, he's got to continue to play well the last 6 minutes.
Johnson gets to his strong hand in the hook as Moore helps Fear back to his feet off behind the play. Good fight for the board. Northweather. He gets it back. Here's a three. You still got to love the fight out of Oklahoma, especially Luke Northweather.
Yeah, still being scrappy, right? Still competing, which is what you expect from a Porter-Moser team. Sweet 16, Final Four team in Illinois, Chicago. They're going to continue to get better as the season goes on, but right now Auburn just too dominant.
And Broom, once you get him in that close, it is hard to keep him off the board. As he now gets to the free throw line, the foul called against Moore.
We mentioned at the outset that there really wasn't an answer for Janai Broom on Oklahoma, but there hasn't been an answer for Janai Broom all season long. Everybody's had a challenge when it comes to defending him.
That's actually Broom's first point of the second half. He had 13 points in the first. That goes to the depth of this Auburn team, how so many other players can get involved. There's 4 players in double figures tonight for Auburn.
You think about Broom's numbers, right? 18 points, 11 rebounds. The first Auburn player to reach those marks in 50 years. First SEC player with 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks at 2 different schools. First Division I player ever to do that. And then the first SEC player with 15, 10, and 2 blocks since Shaquille O'Neal back in 1992.
Woo! Cardwell just flexing on him. That man loves to play college basketball.
I think you would be, if you were a hooper, you'd have a little Dylan Caldwell in you. You'd have fun, sure.
He just enjoys college.
Look at him.
You know? 11th block for Auburn tonight. Their team high this season is 13 against Ohio State.
Auburn's physical.
And Moore stepped out of bounds. How about the D for Dylan Cardwell tonight?
Well, oftentimes when you switch with the big guy, you have a concern or you may consider it a mismatch. He's so physical, he's so strong, athletic, outstanding motor, and one of the best players defensively in not only the SEC, but all of college basketball.
Big fella! Dylan Cardwell! And it's Elvis trying to silence the crowd. That's Cardwell. Man, turn his back on the alley. Four minutes to play in the second half. Cardwell, he's starting to call for it now. Sets the screen. 3 off the mark. And Johnson called for the over-the-back foul. Can I see that alley-oop one more time, please?
Well, in the SEC studio, they talk about the sleigh ride. Hey, Slay, how about Dylan Cardwell putting it in reverse? You get recognition as well.
Do we take for granted just how good this Auburn team is, just what they have done on a nightly basis? Because they are taking everybody's best shot here in the SEC. And in the month of January, they went perfect, undefeated in conference play.
Yeah, but I still think the toughest schedule is ahead of Auburn. They've got to go on the road to Texas A&M, on the road to Alabama, on the road to Vanderbilt, who's already knocked off 2 top 10 teams, on the road to Kentucky, who's struggling without Lamont Butler.
Take a look at the upcoming schedule for Auburn. 6th-ranked Florida is on Saturday. Be back here at Neville Arena on ESPN and on the road at Vanderbilt, which has become a very tough place to play this season.
And even that Florida game, when you talk about a team that has the balance with their guard play, Walter Clayton Jr., Elijah Martin, phenomenal, Richards, and then they've got enough length to, I think, disrupt Janai Broom and match the size of Dylan Caldwell. The question is, which Florida team will show up? And frankly, that Florida team a lot of times tries to outscore their opponents. They won't be able to do that at Auburn.
Dylan Cardwell shows his appreciation to the crowd. Finishes with 8 points, 3 rebounds. Lead for Auburn. Elvis leaning into the contact, and he will draw the whistle. Also, how did I leave out on Dylan Cardwell, the most important part of his line? 6 blocks to go as a team. Auburn had 11.
Yeah, and that's what you have to prepare for. And all of your quality teams who will advance in March can beat you in multiple ways. I think the big asset with the Auburn Tigers is the fact that they're old. They've been there before, and there's Dylan Caldwell right there. I think he's got a good shot to play at the next level. He's going to have to continue to improve offensively, but he'll do well with the dunker spot, and the fact that he can guard 1 through 5 is something that I think NBA execs will like.
Well, there were a lot of NBA scouts in the house tonight. Looking at Janai Broom, Jeremiah Fears, Tahad Pettiford. With 3 minutes to play here at Auburn. Chaney behind his back just throws it up. When you look at this performance from Auburn tonight, what impressed you the most?
Well, I think the fact that Auburn continues to be able to pull away in different ways, and we talked about that, right? In the first half, they really dominated from 2-point range. I thought Oklahoma did a nice job of making them struggle from behind the 3-point line, and then in the second half, they were able to knock down 6 threes. They got to the free throw line. They don't turn the basketball over. Only 7 turnovers versus 19 assists, and then more than anything, just their depth, their balance, a tough team to prepare for.
Kai Howard off the bench with the rebound for Auburn. Howard, he'll take a contested 3 and he'll be fouled.
Kai Howard, we know he's a high flyer from overtime elite. Doesn't look like that disqualification has discouraged Chad Baker-Mazara at all.
You think anything is going to discourage Chad Baker-Mazara?
He's turned into a fan on the sideline. You know, for Oklahoma, there's going to be a lot of teams that come in here and struggle on the road in Neville Arena. They've won 3 out of the last 4. For Porter Moser, he's got to put this one behind him, similar to what he said he had to do after the Texas A&M loss.
That's right.
You got to wash it. And then as you go forward, especially having young freshmen like Forsythe and Fears, you're able to go directly to the film and continue to learn from this to continue to improve. Ample opportunities down the stretch as they'll be 3 and 6 now after this.
And that was something Porter Moser talked to us about shoot-around today. He said Jeremiah Fears loves to sit down with him one-on-one and watch film and analyze the little details as Fears gets by his man. And foul is called on Pettiford. Porter Moser was talking even little fouls. He's studying and figuring out how he can stop. And as we take a look at the other play here, could have been a hook.
Yeah, definitely. Old school move from a young school and new school player. I really like Jeremiah Fears' game, you know, but that's going to be the challenge going forward, because even tonight, you think about him from that point guard position going against another 5-star freshman in Tahad Pettiford that was coming off of the bench. right? Denver Jones has been there, done that. 6'4", 205. You know, fifth-year guy. I mean, senior. So that's tough.
Mushalik in the game for Auburn. As Howard, he's going to use these minutes to get up another one. 2 minutes to play here at Auburn. A reach-in foul called against Mushalik. Freshman Dayton Forsythe goes back to the line.
You know, you think about defensively, you see Forsythe at the free throw line for these young freshmen, how much of a challenge this was. But you shouldn't be surprised. Here at Neville Arena, Auburn actually has the #2 ranked defense in the country in home games, only trailing top-rated Houston. Another fan favorite. And right now, when you think about Oklahoma defensively, they haven't shot this bad since February of last year at Iowa State, where they shot 32.6%.
So Presley Patterson enters the game. And you got to think he's going to want to try to get it up.
Oh, you're supposed to. It's that time.
Off the mark, rebound goes to Northweather. 90 seconds to play here at Auburn. Miles off the window. And he's got 7 points for Oklahoma.
7 points, been solid, couple of rebounds, couple of assists. Just a tough night for the seniors tonight.
Mushalik into the bucket and lays it in.
Dallas, Texas in the building. Trinity Christian Academy. By the 6'3", 190-pound sophomore.
Just his 3rd field goal of the season. And here goes Hudson. And Howard with the follow slam. The bench is loving it for Auburn. Throwing it up, and the alley-oop denied. A foul called inside.
Mushalik getting inside, and how about using the rim for protection by Blake? And the jungle is loving it. Exciting brand of basketball that Coach Bruce Pearl has built at Auburn. And a tough one for the Sooners on the road. Mosher knew it was a tough battle, but after winning 3 of their last 4, they've got to continue to push forward.
We said it was a tough stretch.
It doesn't get any easier.
5 straight teams ranked in a row, as Oklahoma in the middle of it right now. Shot clock turned off, 20 seconds to play. Jacob Fredson Cole, okay, get up. Auburn will dribble this one out. Final seconds inside Neville Arena as the Tigers have now won 14 games in a row. The #1 team in the country with a 98-70 win over Oklahoma.
Well, they look every bit of the #1 team in the country. Their depth, their balance, their efficiency. Janai Broome, multiple weapons. A tough one for the Oklahoma Sooners. They'll have to try to bounce back against the Tennessee Volunteers.
Partner, I always enjoy with you, and especially when you come dressed with the pink jacket. My God, Damian Fishback, I'm John Schriffen. We appreciate everyone joining us and our outstanding ESPN crew here in Auburn. It is a final. The Tigers 98-70 over Oklahoma. Time for the postgame in the studio.